day.
Sunshine, heavenly sunshine, it warms my heart and guides me on my way. Darkness once dwelt in this heart of mine.
Sorrow is the life I left behind.
Sunlight,
Heavenly sunshine,
it warms my heart and guides me on my way.
Darkness once dwelled in this heart of
Mine sorrow is the life I leave behind.
sunlight,
Heavenly sunshine,
sunshine,
warm my heart and guide me on my way. Warm my heart and guide me on my way.
Welcome to another New Moon, New Music. I think we're at episode number 15. And what you heard there at the top of this was a song called Sunlight. And that's my brother Denny, who I told you about in the first episode, who really this whole album is dedicated to. He wrote the music to that. And my dad, Wayne Scott, his dad as well, of course, wrote the lyrics to it. And so that's a song that they wrote together but apart. So meaning Denny had the tune and then Dad wrote lyrics to that. And probably working it out a bit together, for phrasing or this or that. And so it was really kind of an unusual song in that they wrote it together. That kind of never exactly happened before. Denny was really good at putting tunes to lyrics. He just was really, really good at that. And so I remember him putting a tune of or song of mine, a lyric of mine to a melody too, once upon a time. As a matter of fact, that's how I got discovered in the family that I wrote songs. I wasn't exactly televising that. I was just writing in my room. And I guess I'd left a lyric out somewhere in that, and Denny found it and put a tune to it. And I heard him in the next room playing it to Dad, saying, "Hey, Dad, I found this lyric of yours." And he sang it. It was my lyric, but Denny's melody and chords and stuff. And that's when I had to confess, because Dad said, "Well, that's not my lyric." And so I came out of the room saying, "Well, it's mine." And so I was out of the closet, so to speak. But I went right back into the closet because I felt songwriting, particularly the lyrics, it's a private thing. That I sort of treat it as a journal or a diary. So there was the song Sunlight, and what you heard in there was a beautiful female voice of Lauren Scott. So the two singers on that song was Don Scott, uh, my brother. He's the bass playing brother in the group, and his daughter Lauren Scott. And Lauren went to school for voice at USC in California, and she was in the top vocal groups there and in sort of a jazz oriented program at USC. They just had a very advanced vocal department at USC, and it wasn't just pure classical. As a matter of fact, it definitely leaned into jazz and close harmonies, and just had a great tradition. And Lauren came from that and graduated from USC with that. And so I got this idea that let's do Dad and Denny's song called Sunlight. We'll get G to sing it. And then we had that track of him singing from top to bottom. And then I had this idea to get Lauren to sing it. And I told her, hey, give me a lead vocal from top to bottom, but also give me a harmony vocal. And so what I did was I would weave the two singers in back and forth, really as an editing process. And then sometimes they'd be in harmony, sometimes they'd be in unison, sometimes they'd be answering each other. That was all manufactured in the editing process. And but I thought it was really important to have their two voices together in that, and I think it worked out really, really well. Next up is a song called Try a Little Kindness, and that was a song that Glen Campbell recorded in 1969. It was released. And what you need to understand about Glen Campbell, for the Scott brothers, the Scott family, my brother Denny, again, this points back to Denny, was a huge Glen Campbell fan. And so that same year, Glen Campbell had his own TV show on CBS called The Good Time Hour, the Glen Campbell Good Time Hour. And what we would do as Scots, as kids, was take my dad's little reel-to-reel tape. It was a woolen sack, and basically what you would see almost in an AV of a high school, audiovisual department of a high school or a junior college or something like that. Kind of, it would have a little microphone on it, and but it was for home use, and we would literally put the microphone over by the speaker of the TV and record the Glen Campbell Good Time Hour every week without fail. And we'd listen to it a lot. We just kind of roll it and loop it and learn, the licks and the songs and the guitar licks, the harmony licks, because Glen was one of those singers who would sing the song differently every time. He'd sort of keep it in the melody, but then he was almost it was amazing what he would do toward the end of the song to make a departure from the melody. And my brother Denny was very turned on by that approach, but also Glen's range was so fantastic. And so Glen had this single in that year that he had the CBS show called Try a Little Kindness. So picture that Glen is at the top of his form. The top of his game. He's got his own TV show on CBS, and then this single comes out in that same year, so he's hot as a firecracker. So what this song, and we did this song. Denny would sing it every chance he got, like every event of any gig or this or that, because A, it was a popular song, and B, it was a Glen song, and so we did it a lot, hundreds of times. And so when Glen passed, I did a couple of tributes to Glen. One was with my friend Danny Barnes, and we did Gentle on My Mind. He on banjo, me on guitar. We did that one. And then we also did another one. I did another one from piano and I did Try a Little Kindness because it was a Glenn song, and I wrote that intro to it, kind of a interesting. It was definitely a departure from Glenn's version. Glenn's version is kind of, you've got to try a little kindness, just show a little kindness, that type of deal. And so I turned it into a ballad, and it just kind of opened up to me. And then I put that sort of interesting intro, turnaround, outro thing to it, threw in some passing chords like I do, and had this version. So I brought that to the brothers when we recorded. So I'm singing lead on this thing, and then the brothers Don Scott, Dale Scott, and David Scott are singing harmonies. They're also playing the the keyboards, drums, and bass, and because that's how we track the whole record. I'm on guitar here, and then one of the pianos is me too. So check out this song of 1969 from Glenn Campbell, Try a Little Kindness. Definitely a tip of the hat to our brother Denny Scott again.
If you see your brother standing by the road with the heavy load from the seeds he's sown, and if you see your sister falling by the way, oh, just stop and say, girl, you're going the wrong way. You've got to try a little kindness, just show a little kindness, just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street. Don't walk around the down and out, lend a helping hand instead of your doubts. Oh, and the kindness that you show every day, sure they're gonna help someone along life's way. You've got to try a little kindness, and just show a little kindness, just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street. You've got to try a little kindness. Everyone show a little kindness. Just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street.
So there was Try a Little Kindness, which was a different take on the Glenn Campbell thing, but that's what I do. I'll take, a song in a sort of standardized way because, and then I'll find a new way into that song. It's just something I do, and I got to tell you, I kind of learned that from Denny. Denny had a great arrangement skill, and sensibility. He did. Uh, and I learned, to mess with a song or mess with a chord structure, mess with a melody, from Denny, but we were getting it from Glenn Campbell, so to speak. That messing around with the melody thing, um, that was almost, you could set your watch to a Glenn Campbell track where Glenn would ad lib a little bit on toward the tail. He would always leave the front like it's supposed to be, and then he would do his messing around. Well, that's what I do as a singer these days, and that arrangement idea is part of what I do too. Again, I got a lot of that from Denny, but then I found also my own voice, so to speak, in arranging, and that "Try a Little Kindness" is an example of that. If you knew the Glenn Campbell version, and then you heard this version, you'd see what I'm talking about. Here was something kind of interesting to me that I thought was worth mentioning here. So there we are, the Scott brothers. By this time there's 5 of us, but David, by this time, 1969, when this song was famous, was a year old. So we're just kids, Uh, we're listening to country music. We're taping Glenn Campbell's show every week. My dad's a huge Johnny Cash fan. We're getting Cash constantly. My mom's listening to Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn. We're getting that constantly. I made a list of other songs of 1969, and I want you to check this out. This is what was going on while we, the Scott brothers, were listening and taping the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour. Get Back by the Beatles, with a little help from my friends, the Beatles. Bad Moon Rising, Creedence Clearwater. Pinball Wizard, The Who. Spinning Wheel, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love. Cripple Creek by the band. Whipping Post by Allman Brothers. So what I'm trying to display here is while that music was going on in the rock world and just tearing it up, both popularity-wise, but also structure and attitude and all that, we, the Scott brothers, were listening to Glenn Campbell and Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard. And, we'd creep into Tom Jones, also had a show somewhere around then, a TV show. Sonny and Cher, for God's sake. So what I'm trying to explain is for some reason, rock music was there, but not there in our home. So I just wanted to let you know that. Precious Memories is a song that's from our childhood. Yes, in church, but, it was also Johnny Cash, all that stuff. There was a time where country acts were doing a gospel album every 5 or 10 albums or something like that in some cases. The thing about Precious Memories, it's a gospel song, but it doesn't really shove the Christian thing in its lyrics. I wouldn't call it only a humanistic song, but I certainly wouldn't call it a song that's filled with tons of biblical pointings. And so it's just a very interesting song that it's more about the memories of one's childhood. And yes, church things were part of those memories. But so was, you'll hear praying is in there. So certainly it's in there. I'm not saying it's not. It's just, it's not a full tilt, sing Precious Memories and then do a altar call at the end of it type of thing. The other thing to let you know is you'll hear 4 lead voices in here. I start off the song, and then in the second verse, Dale does the first half. He's the drummer brother. Don does the back half of that verse. Then we sing another chorus where I'm taking the lead. And then David comes back in the last verse on the first half, and then I wrap it up on the back half of that third verse. And then we do an a cappella version of the last chorus and kind of come out of it. Another thing I want to bring your attention to at the end of this song, and you'll have to kind of lean in a little bit to hear it, you'll hear another Precious Memories. It's in the same key. of other voices come in as it's fading out. You'll hear, we're singing Precious Memories again. What that is from is a yearly meeting that we would do. It's really a grave decorating time called June Meetin', no G at the end, June Meetin', and it's the first Sunday in June after the first Saturday in June. So that's what it is. It's a grave decorating, and on those June meetings, it's more food than you've ever seen in your life at one place. I remember counting one year 25 desserts, and they're all in the back, room, because it requires its own room. There's so many desserts. And then there's, the main dishes are over by the stove, and there's probably 12 of those. And then the salads and the slash vegetables are on the kitchen table. There's easily 12 to 15 of those. So breads, cornbreads, all that stuff is sitting there in the old style way. Very little of, Kentucky Fried Chicken or things like that. It's my cousins, the Messers. They really dig in and cook in the old style way, like leather breeches and hominy made from scratch, and all that stuff is sitting there at a June meeting. Every June meeting also ends with playing music, like out on the lawn if it's not raining. And so the precious memory you're going to hear at the tail of this is from one of those June meetings, after we've all been fed, and we sit out there and play some guitars and sing, and little kids come in to play and sing, and old folks, and we just kind of join in an old-fashioned kind of way out on the lawn of somebody's house, usually Aunt Irene's, and traditionally. So anyway, you'll hear that little reprise of Precious Memories at the end. Here you are with Precious Memories.
Precious memories, unseen angels sent from somewhere to my soul. How they linger ever near me, and the sacred past unfolds. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold.
Precious Father, loving Mother, fly across all the lonely years and old home scenes of my childhood. In fond memory appears.
I'm talking about precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold.
to on bended knee.
Well, the sun is sinking and the shadows are falling, but their prayers still follow me. Yes, they do. Talking about precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. Midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold.
Did you hear the precious memories? It's in there very slightly there at the end. What's weird is I'm still singing lead in both, so it sounds like it's the same act that that sang for the 4 minutes is the same one singing at the end. And it's some of the same people, but I hear different uncles and cousins in there. But that's what that was meant to be. So I recorded that on my iPhone. Right there it is. At the June meeting and piped it in there at the tail of the studio version of Precious Memories. So now we're going to end this episode with kind of a mashup of 2 songs. One is a Beach Boys song called Southern California, and the other one is a Paul Simon song really early on in the Simon and Garfunkel stuff called Homeward Bound. So let me tell you a little bit about, first of all, I never knew about this song for most of my life, but when I started scouring around and kind of keeping my antenna up for songs for the Brothers album, I heard it from a recording by his brother Dennis Wilson, who made a solo album after the Beach Boys thing. The song Southern California, first of all, that's where we were, we Scott brothers. We'd moved there in 1970, and I spent the entire decade there. I left in June of 1980, so that's exactly 10 years that I spent in Southern California. My brothers pretty much stayed out there, and I'm the one who moved away to Canada and Boston and then Nashville and all that stuff. They kind of stayed out there in that general Southern California thing. One brother, had gone up to the Vegas area, but it's right across from the Southern California. So that same little kind of 4-hour drive central situation. So, and then it's a song about the brothers dreaming of singing with brothers, like what the Wilson brothers were doing, right? Called the Beach Boys. And then I heard this song and I was like, oh my gosh, this is our song. And more specifically, it's David's song, our youngest brother. And so basically what happened is David kind of came up musically on his own, where the other brothers, Don, me, Dale, and Denny, were collected together under the umbrella of our dad, Wayne Scott. And David was kind of raised under the umbrella of our mom, Evelyn Scott, through divorce, 2 different divorces. They married each other and divorced twice. And so David kind of developed his musical situation kind of on his own. And he loved Jerry Lee Lewis, and so he would play Jerry Lee kind of piano, Leon Russell, Elton John, so he really kind of took to, piano playing, and particularly kind of spirited stuff, even blues leaning like a Greg Allman or this or that. And he found all that stuff all on his own. It wasn't through the brothers or through dad or anything. So when I heard this song, I thought, man, that's a song David should sing for this Brothers album, because it's kind of hitting it directly there, and it's also in Southern California, for God's sake. And then what it's saying of dreaming to sing with the brothers, that was exactly what I thought. What this lyric was saying by Brian Wilson's song was exactly right for David. So I brought it to David, and he learned it and did a great job on it. And then what happens with this Paul Simon song, Homeward Bound, two things. I never even heard the song by Paul Simon or Simon and Garfunkel. I'd heard it by Glenn Campbell, because Glenn did it, I think, maybe on one of those Good Time Hour shows that we had taped, and we would do it. Denny would do it, and I'm talking like from 1969, for several years there. The other thing I want to tell you is that last time I got together with Denny, and all the other brothers were there too, just before Denny passed, one of the last songs we sang together while Denny was strong enough to sit up in a lazy boy and call out songs.
Gee, we'll do a verse each. I can't remember. For Jennifer.
Yes.
Halftime. G.
He'd call out the keys, he'd call out the tempos, and he'd call out who would sing the next verse, all from sitting in a lazy boy.
Holy crap. 6. Is it 2? 7 minus 7.
And one of those songs we did there was Homeward Bound at his last sitting. So that's another tie-in that I wanted to bring here. So I bring in the last verse of Homeward Bound by Paul Simon, and I sing it. I come in at the end of David's full singing of Southern California song, Beach Boys. I come in with this reminiscent Homeward Bound thing. The brothers are singing the vocals and all that. And then the tail is weaving the end of Homeward Bound with the end of Southern California. And then David kind of brings us back to the first line of his song Southern California of Brian Wilson's. I had this dream singing with my brothers. And that's it. And so have a listen to this mashup between sort of Beach Boys meets Paul Simon meets Scott Brothers, and you'll have what we got here. Thank you for listening again. I think we'll have one more episode that'll wrap up the Scott Brothers album called I'll Meet You in a Song. And we're just hitting them one by one so that you can hear what we were up to about this. Thanks again for Abraham Scott for his editing and putting pictures in there and all this stuff that you see and hear. And we will see you next time.
I had this dream, singing with my brothers in harmony, supporting each other. Tailwinds, wheel spins down the Pacific coast, surfing on the AM. I heard those voices again. Southern California, dreams will wake up for you. And when you wake up here, you wake up everywhere. Southern California, in the flow of the ocean and the warmth of the rays, heard the music in the air and in the waves. The wind chime, laughter rhyme, we had nothing but time. In Southern California, I heard the voice of my mind. Southern California, dreams will wake up for you. And when you wake up here, you wake up everywhere. Southern California. Surfer silhouettes, the sun went into the sea. As we headed home, we drove into a movie. Love songs, pretty girls, I didn't want it to end. Tried to slow down the motion so we could move us again. Southern California, dreams will wake up for ya. And when you wake up here, you wake up everywhere. Southern California, Southern California, Southern California.
So tonight I'll sing my songs again. I'll play the game and pretend. But all my words come back to me in shades of mediocrity, like emptiness and harmony. I need someone to comfort me. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Oh, home, where my thoughts escaping, home, where my music's playing, home, where my love lies waiting silently for me.
I had this dream
Silently for me,
of singing with my brother,
silently for me,
in harmony,
silently for me,
supporting each other.
silently for me.